Okay, so to do a CMA, the first thing I'm going to do is you can put it up here. You can control this bar up here, and you can add other things to it. But I usually just come down to CMA under search, and then I'll click there to start it. So I'm going to go with 622 Tiercenob, which is my father-in-law's, and we're just going to create a new CMA just so that we can go through that. Most of this is self-explanatory in terms of residential, then the statistical average field. In other words, they're asking what do you want us to base the pricing off of. Total square feet is probably the best in terms of getting the averages, and so that's what I would stick with for the most part. Obviously land, you're going to do something different there, or if it's commercial, it's a very special use, you might use something different there. So let's just do that. We're going to do this for Elizabeth today, and then you can put by and then add other people here too if you wanted to, but then sometimes I'll put in comments about what it's for, like if I'm doing a BPO or this, put in a little disclaimer like this is not appraisal, but our best estimate as to what the current value is. Okay, then hit next step. Subject property. Let's just do 622 Tiercenob. That's Ivan's. I don't know what the zip code is.
I've never heard of that name, Tiercenob.
It's out there. My parents all live on it. So, and then here we can do, if you had a template, which I've never created a template, but if you're doing a lot of these and you just want to use the same template over and over, the way to do that is to do one and then you hit save replace template rather than just new item every single time. And so we'll actually create that just as an example. When you're listing a home that does not already exist in the system, then you have to come in and let's just let's use this location. You have to go in and upload a photo, and I don't have an easy photo to do there. So, well, actually, let's just do choose file. We're just going to use this one. Okay, so that's our photo that we did there. Then we're going to pop in a description of the property, of the subject property that is, and then we're going to just total bathrooms I think was 2, square footage is about 2,800, lot dimensions is about 0.43. Well, actually I'm going to disregard that and just do 0.43. Year built is 2019. Garage type. Now the garage type is attached, but oh, actually we're just doing, I think, okay, so really this is just controlling fields. So you can tell that I don't do this all the time, so I apologize for some of the back and forth. But on this one, we're going to get rid of lot dimensions because we don't need it. But we do want to add a few other things, and so we might come over here and say, we want to compare HOA dues. Oh, actually, that's the period. That's not what I want to compare. Let's do garage capacity. And then we're going to do, if it has a pool. And then we're going to do, let me just find one other. Can everybody see the screen okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I was trying to put it on my TV so I could see it really good, but I just keep zooming in, but it won't let me like share it when we're on this. So next time I'm going to go on my computer so I can see it better.
Sure. Oh, let's do year built. That's a, oh, they already have that one. Okay, so, well, I'm not going to worry about this too much. Pool. heating, air conditioning, everything else. Liza, you got feedback going.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So let's just put, we're just going to say it has an elevator or doesn't. Okay. And then once we have our list, we don't even have to put descriptions here. I was wrong on that. This is, if we wanted to describe it, we might say 0.43 acres, because, or we might come in and say unknown or attached garage capacity. But they're going to ask these in the next steps here. And so what we'll do is we'll come to the next step, and then we're going to, here on the mapping, I like this feature because usually the best comparables are the ones that are closest to the properties. And so this is how appraisers also see it, is they're looking, they want as close as they can get to the same type of value and location. And so when we're doing find comps by a map search, let's see, it only gave us one comp. So, but this is a decent comp still. So, let's see, return listings to. So I think we're just going to hit one on this, or hit yes on this. So I have to select it, and then hit return listings to the CMA. And so now it's added that. So that's not enough comps for me though. So now I'm going to come back here, and I might go to 0.5 miles and see if I can find anything else that way.
So like, what's like the maximum, or, I mean, obviously you're trying to get as close as possible, but like how far is too far if you don't have something close?
77 miles.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Like that was a random number.
I would say stick to the same town or city, because, and then ideally you do need to look at differences in subdivisions. For example, going from Dixie Downs and Entrada, they're going to be within a quarter mile of each other probably, or half a mile.
Right.
They're not going to be comparable in terms of 4-bed, 2-bath, and Dixie Downs is not going to be the same as 4-bed, 2-bath, and Entrada. So,
True, okay.
oh, that's what's going on here. And so it's up to you. You have to be reasonable in that. One thing I like to do though is I do like to come in here and I like to look at square footage, and I'll just scroll through, and actually let's go on a list and see. Generally I already have a pretty good idea in my head as to what the value needs to be. If I don't, then I'm going to focus more on things like, okay, the square footage here is very close, this is close enough, and we already have this one in there. So we're going to go with 3 comparables today, but I'm just looking at just square footage right now. So 2805, 2595, they're already within a half a mile. I can tell that they're all on Kayenta, and so I'm just going to run with that and use these. And so I hit return listings to CMA. Now I have all 3 of these listings in here as far as comparable are concerned. So once I've got that, then I'm just going to hit next step, or you can just click on the next top one up here. But so now the easiest way to do this is to start with hitting auto adjust comparables. And so this just says the system automatically makes these adjustments in terms of the value. The only challenge, and you notice that I have a drop down for each one of the properties here. So it's starting with Morningstar, but you notice that it only gave me 2 items to compare here. And so I need to come over and add a few more fields. Okay, so what it's doing is it's not adjusting for things that the fields are down here, and if I wanted to make unique adjustments, I just need to double click over here. However, if I click on total bedrooms, it shows me the subject, although it did not put in the subject bedroom bathroom. So maybe the description is number. So let me just put that here. And then we're going to put yes, or we'll put in ground. And then Okay, and once I have that, I'm going to come back over to adjustments. And now you'll notice if I click on total bedrooms, it now fills in that. And so it gives me a better idea in terms of the adjustments that I can make for each one. However, you'll notice that the easiest way to do this is when I'm on bedrooms. If I've got one less bedroom, then I need to just come in. Let me see if it will auto adjust again. Okay, so now it added some bedrooms and bathroom, although it never did change the bedroom. I'm just deleting some of these duplicates real fast. Oh, actually there's no difference in capacity on the bedroom. So if you see right here, Morningstar has 2 bedrooms, the subject property has 2 bedrooms, no difference, but it did adjust over here saying, okay, we're taking off 5,000 off the value because these have 1 more bedroom. Okay, these are auto adjusted comparables. So if you feel like you have an amazing bedroom that needs to have a higher value, this is where you make that adjustment. Okay, you don't just go automatically with the auto adjust every single time unless you feel like it's probably a comparable element all the way across the board, or if you feel like a 3-bed versus a 2-bed is actually a $20,000 difference, not a $5,000 difference. That said, usually square footage is more of an indicator than a bedroom is in terms of the value of a property, because some properties are 4 bedrooms and some are 8, but the 8-bedroom could be worth less than the 4-bedroom depending on location and where it's at. So I wouldn't put a lot of weight into bedroom count. Bathrooms, you'll see, have a little bit more. So these are all 1/2 bath more than this or the subject property at Tirsanov, and so it takes off another $37.50 in comparable value. In terms of the value for square footage, you can see though we're at 2,800 square feet. They're at 2,392, so they added 48,960 in value over this property because of the difference in square footage. You can see that they basically they're doing about $125 a square foot is what it looks like, because we're taking off 600 and it's only $5 difference, but then it's 24,600 or 24,600 more because this one's again smaller. And
I can't see your screen all the way to the far left, but that 48,960, is that like showing per property on those other lines where it skips towards the bottom?
No, so 48,960 is only over Morningstar. So if I come over to Paiute Drive, you'll notice that these all change.
Okay.
So can you see where I'm highlighting right now?
No. Like I can't see the left all the way to the left.
I can see it.
Can you see that now?
Your screen isn't full screen, Mark. It looks like a presenter's screen.
I know. I'm trying to get trying to get it to a screen where she can see. Can you see that? Oh, Rebecca?
Not yet. It's still the same on my end.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on now. It just shrunk up again. Let's see. No.
I'm seeing it okay.
So I'm just wondering, like, so on the left side, that's just the different property addresses that are lining up with these values
Right
on the
here?
bottom half, right?
Or right here or right here?
Okay, I can see your cursor now. So down below that,
Okay, so
like
where
there's
the
1,
drop
2,
down is?
3, like under auto adjust comparables, and then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines. But I can't see all the way to the left of that. So I wondered if that was those addresses, like it's showing the value. Like now it says under the value 600, 10,005, 5,000.
It's total square foot, year built.
Okay, yeah. So those are the same breakdowns, but on the left-hand side, you're also selecting by property, and so there's a drop down, and I'll send you this video afterwards so you can see it.
Perfect.
But there's a drop down where I can select the property that I want it to make those individual adjustments with,
Okay,
and then go through and make individual adjustments over a certain property. So
okay.
one other that I'm seeing that we need to have added here is a pool.
And I think that's where I don't feel confident, like knowing what really is within the perimeters of the auto adjust or something that probably should be more or less, or
Sure. Well,
I'm
and
sure that's practice, but
well, that's normal though. Just so you know that's one pool is not the same as all pools, as you've seen. Some
Right.
pools are amazing, some are just little holes in the ground, and so you kind of have to, as a real estate agent, just make a guess, if nothing else, and then sometimes you just look and say this pool would cost roughly this amount, so I'm going to give it $100,000 additional benefit here, or maybe
Okay.
150,000 if it's an amazing pool, that type of thing. So,
would it be, and I guess that was kind of my question too, if it's the value of what it would cost to put it in, or is it the value? I've just had multiple people tell me that you're never going to get what you put into a pool. Like
but
even,
that's just
but
perspective.
you're getting your family investment, but that's about it.
Right.
Don't plan on getting your cash back out of it. But I mean, when it comes to something like this, though, is that different?
Yeah, the thing about, let me just, I'm going to add, let's see. Oops, I'm going to go back to the CMA here. So I'm wondering why it's not including garage capacity here too. I think that's an important one. Okay. Let's remove them all real fast. And then we'll hit auto again. Let's see what it does here. And why it's duplicating anything, I'm not 100% sure. Because all of a sudden it got rid of Laguna, or let's see. So this isn't the most intuitive. As you can see, a pool needs to be accounted for in here. And so, but it doesn't know how to read this. And so I just put in ground. This one says gunite, yes, in ground, yes. But if we're to come over to this listing, let's see if it's, got a pool. Sometimes the photos are the fastest way to see. Okay, this one doesn't have a pool. And then let's see if Laguna has it as well. So having a pool versus no pool, though, is a significant difference. And I don't know, honestly, if you wouldn't get your value back out. I think it really depends on the type of home. Like this type of home, I think you probably would get the value back out, where you're talking an $800,000 general valuation. Because I think people would be willing to, if they're already paying $800,000 for a 2,500 square foot home, then another 50, 60,000, 70,000 for a pool isn't going to be a deal breaker for them. On a $300,000 house, sure, you're not going to get that value back out if you put in a $100,000 pool. So
That makes sense.
So it's relative. It's not, but it's not a fast and hard rule. I don't think there is a pool. I don't see any pictures of one. So it looks like there is. So the adjustment here would be 0, but over this we would do plus 50,000. Yeah, I think you do have to put the plus sign in there, by the way.
Okay.
And then we're going to put plus 50,000 over this one too. Okay. And so anyway, the general idea here is that you should have values, and I have no idea why I just added all those lines again. Let me just. adjust that. But then we're gonna hit next. And so what it's gonna do is it's going to come in, and you gotta go back and you gotta tweak these if they look off. Because you can't expect a computer to read everything rationally. It's reading everything logically, but rationally and logically are not always the same thing. So it does not know how to look at a pool and say, that one's better, because that one looks nicer. It doesn't know how to separate the two. And you may look at carpet and say, oh, there's carpet in this one, there's not in this one. The carpet looks way more comfy and it makes this home way better than this other home. Those are things that a computer cannot analyze via an auto-adjust comparable. And so when you're going through that, you may need to just hit new adjustment down here, just click on it and then type in carpet. And then put on this comparable, we're gonna say that because it didn't have carpet, it's minus $400,000. Just kidding. But we'll say $4,000.
I had to think about that for a second. I'm like, 400, is it?
Okay, so now what this is basically doing is it's saying, okay, after looking at the adjustments that we made for bedrooms and bathrooms and square footage and pools, we're saying that we believe compared to Morningstar, the value of Morningstar should be $960,000. I think. Why is that so high? Was Morningstar the one with the bigger square footage? Oh wait, no. Okay, so it's saying we're higher than, oh, it's because we've got it added multiple times here. Oh, and we're supposed to be minusing for a pool, not adding. Because what we're saying is Morningstar is worth less by $50,000 because it doesn't have the pool. Not our property is worth more. If that makes sense. Okay.
So those adjustments, are those adjustments down there under the comparative adjustment summary, those, if they're negative or positive, are they adding to or subtracting from the subject property or the market?
You know what I just realized? Yes, James, you're right. So it's, if you're adding the value to the subject property, so the comparable value, your property compared to Morningstar is either worth less because it has less bathrooms or more because it has more square footage. And so plus it's, if your place is nicer, you add it. If it's not as nice, you take it away in terms of your adjustments. And so if I come back here now, this adjustment on Morningstar is saying, okay, compared to Morningstar, which sold at $818, we believe yours is worth $94,000 more. So the adjusted price compared to just Morningstar would be $912,000. However, on your property compared to Paiute, which is very similar, almost in all regards, there's only $2,300 difference. We believe it would be worth $852,300. And then the same thing with Lagunda is $897. So now what it's doing is saying, okay, if we went with a low comparable value, we'd say $852. With the high, we'd say $912. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find somewhere in the middle of that. It's a reasonable value. So the average value, for example, is $887. The median value is $897. So here we probably go with something closer to the average, unless I have like 7 or 8 comparables. And then I can adjust that if I feel like that's off. But I would always recommend adjusting it via adjustments on your comparables rather than just ignoring the comparables and creating your own adjustments at the end, if that makes sense. So, and you can see what it's doing here though. It's saying, okay, this was our low, this is our high. What we're recommending is that we start somewhere in the middle. And so if you want to sell the listing, you don't push it up to the very high because it's probably not going to sell. But you also don't want to make them less money than what they can make. And so maybe you say, let's start at 920 and then be prepared to come down to 904 and do that. And so when we get to finish or hit next step, now I pick what items I want in my report. So if I want my cover page to show, if I want a street map or a satellite map to show. If I'm going to have my own subject property description, I could do a side-by-side comparison stat by status. And I could also put active listings in there too, which I think is actually a good way to do it because it shows them who their current competition is rather than just the sold values that an appraiser uses. And so we're not appraisers. We're trying to give them the best perspective of what their property would sell for. And so putting some active listings in there rather than just sold listings is highly recommended in my perspective. And so now, once I've got all this, I'm just going to hit view and look at what my CMA looks like. Okay, so it gives me my comps. It shows where the subject property is with the pin, and so you can see that all three of them were nice and close here, which is good reference for them because people believe if their neighbors sold for one thing, their home is probably worth close to that, and so it's much more believable than if I had Washington and a Diamond Valley type comparable there, and so then it's going to come down, just give some of the basic information, when it sold, the MLS number, that kind of stuff, some of the subject information, and then it goes through the comps, and here's where the adjustments are made, and so be prepared to explain why you made the adjustments that you did, because this is where they're going to see all that. But if they're accurate depictions of those adjustments, it will also be very self-intuitive, and so it makes it look like you hit it spot on as well. This one, it's showing the list versus the sale price, which I think is good, so it gives them a reasonable expectation as to, okay, this one sold for about 95% of what it was listed at, and so you can expect your asking price to come down about the same amount. But notice how the list price was always higher than the sold price. So, okay, and then a lot of this is just kind of reiterating the same stuff, but it just looks good, like you've got a ton of data. I don't really like to include the entire listing MLS spreadsheet in here. So let's say that I get here and it finishes with that, but that's too much information. I can come back here and say, don't. Let's see. Let's just take that one off. Include listing detail. And so when I do it again, now at the bottom of my report, it doesn't put all the MLS spreadsheets on or data sheets on there. Trying to think. It used to have a summation page, but I'm not seeing that. So, in other words, you need to put all the thoughts and the information on the cover page when you're doing that. So to come back, you can always come back to cover page. You can edit that at any time. I would recommend writing this out in Word, checking your grammar, and then copying and pasting into this, rather than just. And notice that it's a 3,000 character max, so don't write a book, just your thoughts. But as soon as you got that finished, then you're just going to download the PDF and you can send that over to your client straight from your computer, or you can email it straight from here. I like downloading it so that I have a copy of it, so if they call me on it, I don't have to sit there and explain myself. But any questions on that, guys?
I don't have any right now. I'm gonna rewatch it when I don't have Tyson in my ear though.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been good, very helpful.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up for today. I'll save this link and I'll upload it to YouTube and then send you a link to the YouTube video.
Thank you.
Then if you have any questions, I'm hoping it recorded because I just realized I wasn't speaking into my normal mic. And so if you can't hear it, let me know and I will redo it. And
Okay.
well, actually, I'll be able to listen to it. So it may not be the exact same if I can't hear it. I might just have to re-record it. But okay,
Well,
that's
thank
all I got
you.
for today. So thanks, guys.
Yep,
All right.
talk to you later.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
See you guys.